So, since we are at the Tycoon UP 2026 event, I would like to understand the startup ecosystem.
If you talk about UP, last 5 to 7 years have been absolutely transformational for the state. Wherever I go, everybody wants to be part of the growth story. Everybody wants to have a share of the pie. Some of the cities that we have opened our hospitals in, Gorakhpur, and 10 years back, nobody would even think of going there. And today, we opened the largest hospital over there. Thanks to the government, they worked on law and order, they worked on infrastructure, and that is all that you need for private sector to boom.
What are the opportunities that are there in Kanpur already that investors are also looking for?
I think if you talk about Kanpur per se, entrepreneurship is in the genes. Everybody, an average person on the street you talk to is thinking about doing something on their own. And it's a very different mindset because it historically has been an industrial town. So everybody always grows up thinking कि मुझे कुछ अपना करना है यहाँ पर. You'll be surprised today with the IIT Kanpur Incubation Center. It is one of the top 5 incubation centers in the country. And it is the best incubation center in the country for deep tech. Everybody knows their India story is incomplete without having a foot in UP. So jump in, pack the instincts, back the local entrepreneurs, and I don't think anybody will be disappointed with this.
Hello and welcome to Tycoon UP podcast series. I am Sukshim Sharma, your host for today, as I'm joined by dignitaries who are shaping the future of entrepreneurship in India. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. I am Abhishek Kapoor, CEO for Regency Health, and we are running Uttar Pradesh's largest hospital chain as of today.
So, since we are at the Tycoon UP 2026 event, I would like to understand the startup ecosystem. Since you have been into the healthcare business, you have been, watching trends. If I talk particularly about healthcare, so any thoughts there?
I think first of all we have to talk about UP, and then I'll talk about healthcare.
Sure.
Last 5 to 7 years have been absolutely transformational for the state. I moved back from the US in 2012, and for the next 2-3 years I was also figuring out what to do, and wherever I would go and tell them that I'm from UP, I was looked down upon actually, and I felt small and bad. But today it's absolutely different. Wherever I go, everybody wants to be part of the growth story. Everybody wants to have a share of the pie. Some of the cities that we have opened our hospitals in, Gorakhpur, and even 10 years back, nobody would even think of going there. And today we opened the largest hospital over there. Thanks to the, really honestly, thanks to the government. They worked on law and order, they worked on infrastructure. And that is all that you need for private sector to, boom. Just giving a stat, in 2016, total percentage of all cumulative bank lending to UP was about 4%. So if total small big banks had committed 4 rupees out of every 100 to UP, that was in 2016, which is a state which is 1/5 of country's population. Today that number is more than 20%, which is a big change in the last 5 years. And that same change is not just across healthcare, but it's all sectors. Everybody I'm talking to, that's the time to grow. It's a time to invest in UP. It's a time to invest in, Kanpur, Lucknow, Gorakhpur, Varanasi, and various other, cities that are here. It's a phenomenal opportunity. And as I speak, so many of my colleagues, my friends, they all are investing back in the state. When it comes to healthcare, I think, again, such a huge state, such a barren place. We started with our first hospital in 95, and that time it was the largest corporate hospital. And then for the next, think of it, we came up with that hospital in 95 until 2020. For the next 25 years, not a single hospital more than 150 or 100 beds opened in the state. And today, if you see that scenario, it is amazing. Almost 10,000 quality beds are getting created in the state. Of course, we are expanding. We are there in Kanpur, Lucknow, Gorakhpur, coming up in Varanasi. another one in Lucknow, Agra, Bareilly. So our vision is that nobody living in UP should be living at more than 1.5 hours away from a Regency hospital, and we want to be the largest player, present in the state, from the state, for the state. Like I said, 10,000 quality beds. We'll be providing 3,000 of those in the coming 5 years. So you can just imagine 25 years, not a single quality bed added in the state. And suddenly, in these 5 years, cumulatively, people are investing, all the groups and all the chains are now here and looking at the state. 10,000 beds are getting created. So that just tells you that state was absolutely stagnant for 25 years. And now that potential has just opened up. And we are still scratching the surface with even 10,000 beds.
And obviously, you're talking about the expansion on the private sector part. But do you want to contribute this, let's say, success to the government bodies as well, and how the support is coming over? If you talk about the state, Uttar Pradesh in particular.
Like I said, UP was a different story 10 years back, and today it's a different story altogether. The government did what it should have done. It provided the best law and order, and thankfully it's at par with the best in the country today. And it provided the best infrastructure. You talk about expressways, you talk about roads, you talk about airports, you talk about connectivity, railway connectivity. I mean, it is amazing. The infra is amazing. And if you develop the infra, if you, uh, uh, you know, take care of law and order, private investments will automatically come. Right?
Absolutely.
That's what the government is there. The government has to facilitate the development. It doesn't have to become an obstacle,
Right.
right? And it is facilitating.
Of course.
Right, it is that's the platform that any private player needs, and that's why you're seeing so many people now from across the country looking at UP as a state to invest, because these 2 3 things are aligned. The political will is there, infra development is there, and law and order is safe.
Absolutely.
Right, capital is there across the country.
Right. So talking about the startup platforms again, which is our key topic of the day. So, what are the opportunities that are there in Kanpur already that investors are also looking for, apart from the availability of, as you mentioned, the facilities are there, the services are there, but beyond that.
I think if you talk about Kanpur per se, entrepreneurship is in the genes. Everybody, an average person on the street you talk to is thinking about doing something on their own. And it's a very different mindset because it historically has been an industrial town. So everybody always grows up thinking कि मुझे कुछ अपना करना है यहाँ पर. As compared to a service economy mindset where the aspiration is कि मेरे को कहीं जॉब करनी है. यहाँ पे हर व्यक्ति सोचता है मुझे अपना कुछ करना है.
Right.
And so many homegrown brands are present over here.
Absolutely.
All this was needed was the infra, was the good governance, was the capital availability, and then everything else takes care of it. You'll be surprised today with the IIT Kanpur Incubation Center.
Right.
It is one of the top 5 incubation centers in the country. And it is the best incubation center in the country for deep tech. I was with the director last night. 500 startups have been incubated. And now with these kind of events and what TIE has provided, it's just an impetus. Angel funding is going to flow to these startups, and soon it will become a very, very big hub. I mean, for startups to be incubated, you need a education hub, and what better than IIT Kanpur for this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, sir. So, just to sum up our conversation for today, any last message that you would like to give to the, let's say, investors also who are eyeing Kanpur, for the investing thing?
I think most people now are trying to catch the boat to UP. Everybody knows their India story is incomplete without having a foot in UP. So jump in, pack the instincts, back the local entrepreneurs, and I don't think anybody will be disappointed for this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. This was Abhishek Kapoor from Regency, who talked about the opportunities that are there in Kanpur and as a state in Uttar Pradesh. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the insights.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.